Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, we here, y'all. This series 8 of J.O. Speaks Poetry Slam, y'all. Listen, we had a little bit of technical difficulty, but y'all, we here. I feel like the anticipation builds it in the air. So these poets are ready, y'all. We've been sound checking, we've been checking the camera, we've been checking their voices. Yo, we got a dope lineup. We got even doper judges. We gonna have a crazy night, y'all. I am excited. This is the first time I get to hear the poets. Y'all get to hear the poets, y'all. We in for a treat. And this just the beginning, y'all. So listen, I would say sorry for the wait, but I feel like, yo, it's about to be worth the wait. So y'all know this show can't be done just with me alone. It take a team. It take a village to raise a poet, as I say. So always holding it down. Inbox one, my ace. Y'all give it up for my boy Big Uno in the building. What's up?
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm excited. I appreciate you guys having me here again. I look forward to hearing some good poetry. Hey, I'm a performance man, so please keep me entertained. You'll get the score that you earned. Don't be mad at me at the end of the show. Let's go.
Making the cut. And we'll talk about the rules once we introduce the judges. Yo, Kimberly Steward, she's camped down for a little bit. Y'all know she is fashionably late. So I feel like she coming through with a dope wardrobe. She say otherwise. But yo, Kimberly Stewart, tell the people what you're looking for tonight. Greet them, even though we can't see you right now.
Listen, you might not be able to see me, but I can see you though. And I got my eyes on you, each and every one of you poets. I'm so honored to be amongst such great talent. But let me tell you, even though I'm honored, I don't hold no shows. Okay. So let's go.
Let's go. And listen up, hold it down in box 3. We need to switch him to box 5, but hold it down for box 3 right now. My boy Prentice Powell, y'all listen, he is crazy dope. If you don't know Prentice Powell, I don't know what you're doing with your life for real. Yo, my man is in the running for a Grammy, y'all. He got some big stuff going on, so I'm excited to have him on the judging squad, yo. So he done been doing poetry for a minute. He done it with the greatest. So Prentice, tap in with the poets. Let them know what you're looking for tonight.
What's going on, good people? Just be dope. And like everybody else said, man, you here to slam and compete. So it's a competition. So get out your feelings and get back to work if you get a score you don't like.
Just like that.
Hey. And so we switched up a little bit. And so next to him is the lovely Cassandra is free. Y'all listen, she is no stranger when it comes to virtual slams. She's probably the queen of virtual slam. Like I didn't see her get down on the camera. Like I feel like I know her just from the virtual slams out back. I feel like she the next door neighbor. I'm about to say, yo, let me get a cup of milk. I'm trying to make some cornbread. But nah, Cassandra is free. What you looking for tonight?
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm looking for content and delivery, and definitely just be yourself. Come up here. Don't try to imitate somebody you heard before. Just come up and be yourself and have fun with it, but compete. Sure, be hungry for it. Be hungry.
Let's go. And last but not least, and the reason I saved him for last, y'all, he just got off tour. Hey, if y'all haven't heard of the Poets in Autumn tour, make sure y'all look it up. My man is dope. He did, I don't know, 100 city tour almost, close to maybe 99. I don't know if they done it. But yo, they've been mad busy. He got a new family, so y'all know it's a sacrifice for poets that know what that road life look like. Yo, every time I look up, he on the stage. He was just rocking the other day. So yo, y'all give it up for my man. He calibrating tonight. Low Allen, man. What you looking for, my man?
Man, it's always blessed to be in the space of other artists and creators. I'm looking for authenticity, be yourself. Don't try to bite nobody else's style. Have fun, like you said, compete, but like be you. We want to hear you.
For sure. All right, y'all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let my man, since he in the big box, kick us off tonight. Low, the poet is calibrating. Let's go.
Been praying. This time I pray I have a son. Pray he have his mother's eyes. I pray he reach for me with hands that look just like mine, a little brown boy with beauty in his skin. While too small to put any strength behind his fist, he will grip my love and render me selfless. My son will be a king. And where a crown has been passed down for generations, this hair that curls, non-negotiable, his smile will be a gold mine, like a natural resource for the benefit of his people. See, where we from, joy be currency. In our land, we let the moon and the stars have the night off from time to time, but we've known how to shine in the darkest of situations, even when taken from our home. We've never allowed our home to be taken from us. My son will have the hum of a front doorbell in his throat. He will sound like home for the wandering souls longing for the shelter of their nation. My son will be a nation. I won't let anyone tell him otherwise. For other eyes may fail to recognize that he carries the color of a continent in his skin, which is too large to fit in the broken systems of men. So when someone tries to tell him that there is no room for a black boy here, we'll tell him that he isn't really black at all, but he is the most beautiful shade of hope that this world has to offer. Like the ink of a promise that was written to our kin, for we don't descend from the shadows of men, but from the kings and queens who have basked in the sun long enough to have captured its glory. Someday, when the chasm of his curiosity culminates into a canvas of carefully crafted questions in the hopes that I can paint a picture of the past, he'll ask me, Daddy, how did we get here? And I'll tell my son about the days when we were one, how every nation, tribe, and tongue came from Africa, but some men had hearts that grew dark and homesick, sailed unto our shores with ill intent and spread like cancer. They robbed our land. Didn't think too highly of us either. We were shoplifted right off the continent, mistook our beauty for art. We were hung in the homes of men who thought they owned us, but never owned us. Their eyes were just too dim to see the sun in our skin, the gold in our smile, and the curl in our crown. They forgot that their sons were really our sons. They forgot that our sons were kings. Well, my son will be a king. His heart still royal, his joy still a treasure, just like his ancestors who were stolen from their homes, felt the distance in their bones, 9,000 miles between the marrow, but their hearts never left, never lost the love of their origin. Couldn't stop the sun from sleeping in their skin, so they stayed glorious even through the darkest of times. We've shined in the darkest of times, and we will shine in the darkness still. Pray God anoint our feet. We would treat each step like a stage and light up history. They will know us. They have known us, but we were kings and queens, always royal, always sons of God. Yeah, you seem passionate about whatever you're saying, but we can't hear it, my guy.
Yo, that's how it's gonna go tonight. Yo, appreciate you, Lo. Hey, the poet go spit and the judges we go judge, and that's how we get it going. Yo, Uno, it's on you.
Yo, Lo, stove on low, you simmering, you cook. Hey, I appreciate the piece. You kept me engaged from the very first sentence. You build, and you gave me some emotion. You eye contact. So I was thoroughly impressed with the piece. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and say I appreciate the way you started the show. I hope other poets see this is what we're looking for. So I'll give you your 10.
Let's go, 10. All right, Kimberly Steward.
Hey, how are you? My name is Kimberly Steward. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, fam.
Black man, can we be friends? Can we be friends? Oh my goodness. I salute you, King. That was amazing. I love the way you build, man. You have an uncanny thing that it's like a nervous energy that makes me calm. And I love that. Anybody that can make me remember bars and remember their face at the same time is king in my book. So I'm gonna give you a 10, sir.
Oh my God. Let's go. So Lo, you can't judge yourself, so we're gonna skip over Prentice Powell. He's a calibration poet. What you giving him?
Lo, pleasure to meet you, bro. It was dope hearing your work, man.
Pleasure, my guy.
I think it can be tricky anytime we write a kind of an ancestral origin type poem, I think it was clever how you did it, tying in your son, which was refreshing, because I think you could have just went like 2 minutes into that joint. I think you could have did that the whole time, but the fact that, you know, it correlated to your son, I appreciate it. And I think sometimes with the fact that that's a poem that a lot of us can write as Black writers, I think it's even more tricky, to be honest with you, keeping us engaged in poems like that. If you've heard enough of them, they can get kind of cliche at a certain point. So I appreciated the fact that, to me, it didn't feel cliche. What I would have liked to have heard, after probably like the 2:15 mark, I would have loved to hear you tie back in talking to your son real quick, because I know you went on the ancestry and talking about where we come from, and all that history is dope. But for a moment, I forgot that your son was a catalyst for the poem. So just an idea, and I do this shit all the time. It's just my thoughts, bro. It would be dope in that last minute stretch, in one line at least, maybe come back to say something directly to your son to give the listener a reminder how this all ties in. But it was dope. I think because you are the calibration poet, I'm not gonna give you a 10. I think 10s are the dopest shit you ever heard in your fucking life. So you know, we're gonna start the for me, I give it an 8.2. Because we got a lot of poetry coming up, and I don't want to go too high, I don't want to go too low, but I definitely think it's a solid poem. It didn't lose my interest, and honestly, sometimes poems like that do lose my interest. So shout out to you, bro.
All right, for sure. Yo, Prentice, we run a clean show, so language, if you could.
Oh, my
you good, you good.
You did say that. I'm sorry. My apologies.
All right, Cassandra is free.
All right. So first of all, I'm glad you just gave the language disclaimer, because I didn't know either, and I was probably getting ready to say some stuff. So low, I'm here 100. Thank you. Thank you, Prentice. So low, also nice to meet you. Nice to hear the piece. In the beginning, I definitely was about to log off and just go lay down with my son because he's sleeping in the back, because it was like, I was in the fields. The whole poem was dope. I like the twist. I agree as far as bringing in your son, because a lot of times we just hear the same lines over and over again when we're doing pieces dealing with our history. Because I teach writing, so what I teach my students is that what you do in your intro, you want to do in your conclusion as well, to bring it back. So I agree with kind of bringing it back to your son. If you just for that piece, that's what I would have liked to have heard as well. I love the whole piece. There was a line, it was like, you can take them out the country, but you can't take the country for them, or something like that. And I thought that was a really dope line. My overall score was a 9.2.
Not fire. So y'all, if y'all caught what I caught, the judges is coming hard, but they coming dope, y'all. You get to walk away not just with a score, but with some feedback that you can build on. So with that being said, y'all, the judges are what we're doing. So y'all to know the rules, we're gonna hit the rules and then we're gonna kick it in. You get judged on from 5 points, but we drop the highest and we drop the lowest. The highest score you can get is a 30, y'all. So tonight, only 8 poets will make it into round 2. We got 10 poets spitting tonight, so that means 2 will be eliminated. We're going all the way down to the final round, y'all, to the final 4 in week 4. So we're in for a treat, y'all. We got a prompt at the end of this, but this is how we get it started. So you know what time it is. It's time to mix words and emotions with confidence and emphasis. You see, it's the hottest show with a poetic flow, from the one that brought you right and chill, often imitated, but no one ever duplicates the feels. Every Tuesday night at 10 Central, our words weigh heavy on your mental. You see, we interrupt your normal program to bring you J.O. Speaks Poetry Slam, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. So, I ain't gonna hold y'all no more. Y'all ain't come to hear us just ramble on all night. Let's get ready for the first poet of the night, y'all. Put your hands together for Jules. Janelle Jules. Let's go.
The journey for happiness. From when I was a child, I found myself happy at the smallest things, like playing with my dolls and pretending they had some wings, or feeling the sunshine on my birthday, which was around school. It seemed so simple when I was a child, just to be happy. Puberty came in and took it all away. I found myself feeling lonely, only turning to God when I needed to pray. My emotions kept me silent when the bullies came to play, only breaking down when I was too frustrated to say, "Stop, I'm just a human like you. Why do you torture me for being blue?" It took my mother and a brave soul to make it stop, and soon I found my happiness again, or so I thought. Love was a feeling I seemed to keep stumbling upon. From Justice to Isaac, they all treated me wrong. I tried to fix the damage that was done to me at a young age, trying to build the confidence that my father up above gave. And soon, I would find something to take the pain away. Writing poetry and stories gave me hope to this day. For a brief moment, I felt my happiness again. All I needed was my confidence back. And soon I learned about self-love, which helped me to stay on track. Practicing in the mirror, I told myself I was beautiful, that I deserved the world. And if no one else loved me, I had my own shoulder to lean on. With God's help, I was becoming strong. My happiness came back, and soon I started to see a woman growing up so happy and so beautifully.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, so judges, y'all know where we at. Uno, it's on you.
Hey, Janelle, thank you for that piece. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the show. But I'm gonna get right to it. It sounds after hearing the calibration and from what I'm accustomed to on the show, being a part of since season 1, it didn't keep my attention. It was kind of monotone. The delivery was you sound like you were a little nervous for me, Mom. Even if you're reading off a piece, I still would like to have a little engagement, keep me entertained and keep me engaged. So with that being said, I ain't gonna talk you to death. I'll give you a 6.5.
All right, 6.5. All right, Kimberly.
Hey, Janelle, how are you, beautiful?
I'm doing all right.
Awesome. Listen, I am really a little sad that I didn't get to see your face as much. One thing about when you are in a virtual setting and you are presenting something to us, you actually have to present it. And with us not being able to see the emotion, we also couldn't feel it. And so you have to figure out how to make your surrounding and your lighting work for you. So a lot of people know me as the fashion guru. You have a whole bunch of light coming in on one side of your screen and it's all on the back. Positioning yourself there so that you can always catch the light. I'm in my kitchen and I'm catching my light at all times. It's something else to practice. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because your words are important. And so I want to thank you for bringing that piece. I want to thank you for your writing skills. And I'm going to give you a 5.7.
All right, 5.7. Low.
Man, Janelle, super thankful for you sharing tonight. It's I would say everything everybody has already mentioned is presentation is a huge part of it. I would even go back to the writing of it too, though. I think your story is powerful and profound, but your craft needs a lot of work to invite me into the piece. It took me a while to even realize, this is like, who is the person you're talking to? Because that person is not named, nor is it necessarily clear in just the writing of it. I would add to that, there's a lot of like storytelling, and narrative can be a really powerful tool in poetry, but nothing invites me into the story to feel it alongside you. Not much in the writing, nor in how you express it. So I would say I'm really thankful for your vulnerability to share. I think that the story is powerful. The craft can use some work to be able to share it and invite folks into it. So it's an even 5 for me.
All right, 5. All right, Prentice.
Hey, Janelle, appreciate you sharing your work. I would echo similar sentiments. I thought your poem was a bit rhymey. I think with the simplicity of it, it was kind of easy to predict which word was gonna land at the end of the next sentence. And I'd encourage you to expand on your writing style. So rather than making sure that, you know, it rhymes as much, I would encourage you to kind of expound on them emotions and feelings that you had while writing that and simply putting it down on paper. And you may find a couple of good pockets in that poem to change up the cadence, to change up the delivery. But I definitely, it was very monotone. And with some of the things you were talking about, like you mentioned self-love, that was a word that stood out most for me. You mentioned self-love, and I didn't hear self-love from you anywhere during that whole poem. And I'm big on self-love, period. Like that's just my thing. I almost did it again. That was my thing. But I would love to hear more of who you are as a person. Because I don't feel like I heard any personality. And like it was echoed before, you do want to present. And just to anybody else, you know, listening, you're automatically going to be a strike down if you're reading off paper in a slam. Because it breaks the ability to communicate. Even on camera, you know, if you're not looking at that lens, but you're looking somewhere else, sometimes that's the only engagement and direct contact we have with you. So I would just love to hear more of who you are. I would love to hear joy, which I didn't hear. It just sounded really monotone. So shout out to you. Just keep working at it. But I give it a 6.
All right, 6. All right, Cassandra is free.
Okay, good evening, Janelle. Thank you for sharing the poem, first of all. So I felt like you wrote the poem from the heart, but I don't feel like you delivered it from the heart. There's like a certain energy with slam versus like going to an open mic or a poetry reading. So, and you can win a slam reading, but the trick to it is to kind of make your audience forget that you're reading, because you still have to engage with your audience. You still have to look up from time to time off of whatever you're reading from to engage and let the audience try to connect with you. And you weren't able to do that tonight. So I would just say that's one of the things I would work on with the writing. If you're going to read, you're going to read, but put energy into it so that we can feel you, so that we want to keep listening, because I started you lost me a couple of times because there was no energy and it was monotone. So it's just like working on delivery, working on your tone, working on how you express what you want to express. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to just go with an even 7.
Okay, appreciate you. Thank you so much, Janelle. Hey, you did your thing. It's hard to hold that number 1 spot. You came in. We're going to drop you backstage.
Okay.
I appreciate you. All right, y'all. We're about to keep it going. Next to the stage, y'all give it up for my girl, Natalie Devaney. Let's go.
What if it's all true? What if there is a God, but not just one God, all gods, maybe some we don't even praise to yet, and it's worth it to pray and repent for our sins, because whichever gods we pray to are who we spend the afterlife with. Are we comforted by the sources we show honor to? Are we at peace with who prays with you? We'll be sucked far out into some distant corner of the universe together, plucked into an all-knowing afterlife, some maybe forever, or until we're thrown back to Earth, or another planet we have no possibility of seeing yet. With these eyes, we see so far. We've come so far, and yet we see so little. What if none of it's true? What if there is no God, no creators, no higher powers, being of all beings, and we just sit here taking over this rock like a fungus takes over a long forgotten 4th grade science experiment? On one hand, it is so beautiful, and on the other, it is so not. So what do we do then? We find the higher power within ourselves. What if it's not there? Our fears yell. It's all perceived through our altered reality and our pieces and our parts that resemble galactic things. It's all just coincidence. Reflects how badly we want to believe what we want to see. We're just cells and organs assembled in a skeletal cage, trapped until we go. Nowhere. Anywhere. Everywhere. Does anyone really know? I mean, really know, not what we've been taught or been told, but what we Heartedly, no. Perhaps we do, perhaps we don't. But there is no need to worry. It's beautiful because it could all be true.
All right. Judges.
Natalie, thank you for your piece. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Not gonna lie, I was already prejudging. I was like, let me see what she finna do. Gonna be honest. Caught me off guard. I like it. You kept me engaged. I like the way your piece was kind of challenging. It wasn't of the norm. It wasn't the standard piece. But I did lose. I lost what the piece was supposed to be. Not gonna lie. You took me on a journey and kind of dropped me off. So with that being said, I'll give you a 7.5. Thank you.
All right, 7.5. All right, Kimberly Steward.
Hey, Natalie. Listen, your energy is very beautiful. And I love the fact that you use your voice to make this piece cross over to us who would judge it from the beginning. But it's a little too much of that. Your piece was strong. It was very, very strong. And you delivered it to us weak. And so that's a little bit of an issue because you stand there in all of your beauty. Your voice is beautiful. Your words are beautiful. And you have power behind them, but no power to us. So think about that when you're delivering and when you're performing. Also, one thing that I like about you, but I think is going to be a little bit of the double-edged sword for you as well, is that it's almost like you want us to be okay with what you have to say. And do we need to be? Because you just took us through 3 different questions to put us in question. And that's pretty bold. It's a pretty bold move. So I might be reading you a little bit wrong, but that's just, that's my perception of it. Hopefully you could take a little bit of it and come sprinkle that salt back on us later. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate that piece. I'm taking Uno's words, my bad. Listen. Anyways, Natalie, I am going to give you a 6.5.
All right, 6.5. All right, Lo.
Natalie, I really appreciate the piece. I think there was a lot of really cool things you did writing wise, just giving us imagery. I think even being intentional when you name a part of your body, like using it, these hands, you point to your eyes, you point to your cheeks. Like, I think being able to match your body movement with your words is very, very important. As much as eye contact is important, like, you have to do those little things on a virtual setting to help me connect to what you're saying, right? And so great job for matching your body movement to parts of the poem. One of the critiques I would give is there are also blatant areas where you had, I would say, maybe too much eye contact. Like, you talked about this galactic somewhere, but you're still looking at me. That's a great space to break eye contact and just use that to your advantage. There's even an area where I think you talked about, whatever's out there, and then you point to your face, but out there is not where your face is. So I think just being consistent and matching your body movements to the actual piece. I do think you went through a lot of turns in that poem to have a not clear landing point. And that's not always a bad thing if that's your aim. It didn't seem like that was the aim, though. There seemed to be like you wanted us to appreciate that there's options. And if you're going to let me appreciate the options, let me feel that there's an appreciation for the options as opposed to saying, "Other what if." And so I would say there's some really dope things you did. Making the movements and even the writing more consistent will be fire. That being said, I got a solid 8 for you.
All right, 8. All right, Prentice Powell.
I thought the poem was dope. Dope in the sense of I liked I like what you were doing with it. Started off talking, you know, about God, and for me, you know, I'm listening, but I'm kind of like, all right, let's see where she go. And I like how near the middle you were like, what if none of it's true? Because that made me go, oh, okay. So she's not just doing a religion poem. So when you said, what if none of that's true? I'm like, oh, and you're talking about God, talk about what if none of this is true. I actually like this because your challenges, you know, you're challenging with the writing. So I appreciated that. And I do believe in energy, and I listen to what you say about, you know, it going somewhere, everywhere, anywhere, nowhere. I like that. And I like how at the end you came to say it's beautiful because it could all be true. So then you went back to considering the idea that everything you said has validity to it. So the content of the poem, I really appreciated. I think you can play with your vocal fluctuations a lot more than you do. I think your voice is very, very dope and very good. It's soothing, it's peaceful. But I do think there's certain places where you can emphasize certain words a little bit more. And like Lois said, you know, there's certain places where, you know, you were pointing certain areas, but talking about something else. And so the verbal and physical reference didn't necessarily match. But I think that all comes with practice and just finding deliberate body movements that you do within a poem and sticking to those body movements. That way it becomes kind of second nature and autopilot, and it resonates visually as well. But I enjoyed the poem and I enjoyed the concept. I'll give you a 7.4.
All right, 7.4. All right, Cassandra is free.
Okay. So, hey, Natalie. I like the poem. I like how you started with a question because that grabbed my attention immediately because I wanted to see where you were going with it. You started with a question instead of a statement. I like the idea of the poem, and I kind of see where you were going with it. For me, I don't know if anybody else, I don't want to repeat what anybody else said because I agree with a lot of stuff that was said, but I would say for delivery, not even content, but just for delivery, watch your beats, which is just where you pause in your poems, because it started to feel like a run-on sentence, almost like you were just like trying to get done with the poem instead of delivering the poem. So kind of work on your beats and your pauses in your poems, especially where you feel like your best bar is. You pause for just a second because you had time. Pause, not a long pause, but just for a second to make sure we caught it, and then pick it back up and keep going. So that's my main critique. I'm going to give it a 7.5. Good job.
All right, 7.5. That's what's up. Hey, Natalie, thank you so much for coming to the slam. Yo, appreciate you. I'm going to put you backstage. All right, y'all. Listen, judges, y'all get much love in the comments. They saying they loving the feedback. They loving the fact that it's just not scores, but it's coming with comments and commentary, which is so constructive. But y'all, we about to keep this. About to keep it going, y'all. Y'all put your hands together for the next poet. Give it up for my man, Terrell. Let's go.
God, change me. Make me them. Change me. Personality him. Change me. Mask, not femme. Me, free. Best things in life are free. Seem like it all came with a price for me. Everything I pick come with a cost. Try to return it. I can't find lost. When it gets so hard to put it on layaway, guess that day I forgot to pay. Turning up the heat to jack up the price. Tainted the sweet, the bitter, the nice. In this store of life, I guess it's me I'm supposed to find. Clock running down, almost out of time, looking with panic on every shelf, in every aisle, everybody but myself. God, help, please, seduce this struggle with ease. Look, it's me, seeing self, I erupt, grabbed me just in time. Oh, look at life's line. What, God, everybody done found themselves today? This line, though, they play. It seems to be moving fast, even though I'm last to the register. My turn, I learn how much? Free. God, why are you looking at me? I'm free. Finally, free. Now look, with I inside, I am king, not down. I am king on ground. I am king, black, not brown. I am king, nappy hair crown.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, who knows? It's on you.
Yo, Terrell, I appreciate that piece, big dog. I appreciate that piece. No slight to the other poets, but I feel like the poetry competition has begun. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Because you gave me a performance. You kept me engaged, not with just your words, with the eye contact. You had the right mixture of both to me. You didn't change who you are. You kept it with your twang. You perform. Man, I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. I had a very good time. So with that being said, I give you a 8.5, my way. Appreciate you.
8.5. All right, Kimberly Steward.
Terrell, welcome, my boy. Listen, I was thinking the same thing, Uno, and I'm going to tell you, me and Uno don't always agree. So I was like, okay, welcome to J.O. Speaks Poetry Slam. All right, I'm ready. But I was waiting for you. I went and grabbed some snacks. I was waiting for you because I kind of knew. I was like, this one right here, it was something about your face. It was something about your background. It was something, y'all, when I opened my camera, I had my cabinets open to all my snacks. Those were for you. So I appreciate all of that. I think that parts of it, though, you a little overdid it. And you have to understand that, like, you're very unique. And I love that about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, already, and you could ask Uno, it's very seldom that I pick up on a poet week one and I like them. It takes a couple weeks for me to warm up. But I like you. I really, really do. So I'm going to give you an 8.
All right, 8. All right, Low.
Fire. Hey man, thanks so much for sharing your piece, dude. I feel like there's a confidence in yourself that you have to where you can try to sound like yourself and you're not trying to sound like anybody else. Like I feel like you weren't reaching to be anybody, which I greatly appreciate. I can't even point to any one particular person. I think you kind of sound like you're biting off of. So I'm mad appreciate the authenticity of it. As mentioned before, I like that you were just theatrical. You know, you knew when to look at us, you knew when to look away, you knew when to direct your eyes towards wherever you thought God was in that conversation. Like I could vibe with that. And so great job on I think the performance was solid. I got some critique on the writing. I think that rhyme schemes are not bad, and rhyming is a really dope tool to use. But when rhyming overshadows other tools, like I feel like other than rhyming, there's not very many things you went for. And it's just an easier way of writing in some ways and kind of cheapen the direction you're trying to go. Sometimes you have things that are meaningful that you want to say that you can't get to because you think you have to put a rhyme there and it has to come after certain beat, after certain hit. So I think forcing yourself to rhyme limited what you're able to express. And that takes a huge knock for a writer. So I would just strongly encourage you, man, like learn to get into the bag of using other things, right? You can use cadence to your advantage. You can use rhyme to your advantage, but don't be limited by those. Find other schemes you can use. Find different poetic tools you can use. So that was a 7 for me.
All right, 7. Solid. All right, Prentice, it's on you.
Yeah, bro. I think you did a good job with your vocal inflections in the beginning. You're talking about God and looking around. I thought that was cool. So it's obvious that you're connected to the words you're saying because naturally you have some responses to them. The one thing I would say with this, initially you started off with the kind of like the chaotic kind of delivery with it's kind of choppy and you're kind of confused. So I was wondering when you started that, I'm like, okay, so I heard the struggle, but then I wondered where is he going with this? And then you would pop in and out of the kind of like jumbled in thought, and the thoughts would be kind of break, and you would say like partial words. So I think you got to be careful with that because when you get that kind of jumbled feeling, I think it should go in a direction, and it felt like it's more of something you may be used to doing within this poem that didn't necessarily feel like it fit every time you did it. I think for me, especially when I look at other Black men, when they're delivering their work in times of stress or chaos internally that seems to be coming out, I'm really like, because I identify, you look like me, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't necessarily feel or identify the chaos in certain times when you had it and when you said it. But I thought the poem was dope. I think you could go back and find a couple of places where you could break a little differently. I think, like Lo said, in the cadence trying to rhyme, sometimes you do lose a lot of different things you can do. But also at the same time, the more you practice, the better at it you get. So overall, I think it was well. It didn't move me hella, but I see that you do this, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? So I would give this a 7.6.
All right, 7.6. All right, Cassandra.
All right. Hey, Terrell. So I like the poem. I had written the word theatrical before Lo said it. He stole my word. But, I love the energy that you gave. That's something that we look for in slam is energy. It doesn't have to be necessarily that you're loud or anything like that, because you don't have to be loud to slam, but you have to have energy. You can't just sound like you're just reading. And you gave energy with it, which I appreciated. I also agree with the rhyme scheme. I mean, we all rhyme and put rhymes in, but it doesn't have to be consistent throughout the poem because it kind of limits you to what you really want to say sometimes. So I agree with that. So I'm echoing what a couple other people said. Score was a 7.9.
All right, 7.9. I appreciate you. Terrell, oh boy, I appreciate you so much. Hey, I'm going to take you backstage. Y'all, we about to keep the show going. Y'all, next up, we in for a treat, I believe. Hey, put your hands together for my girl, Blue. Let's go.
I spread my legs and I told her to come here. Rest your head on my thigh and let me run my fingers through your hair. And she began to doze as I massaged peace into the follicles of her scalp, spreading love from root to tip, unraveling stubborn knots along the way. She stirred, waking from this short nap with this beautiful smile and this long stretch, her voice still rough with sleep as she tells me her neck is sore. So I pause. I begin walking my fingers down the nape of her neck, swerving around her spine to the curve in her clavicle, drawing and it's like groans from deep within. I got lost in the pureness of her moans, lost in the smoothness of her skin. I was lost. But then her brother beats by reminding us that we were not alone, so I hurried to finish her hair as fast as I could, because in that moment I realized that I could spark fire without any wood, and aren't they afraid of a woman who can? Well, woman I am, as was she, so cute, deliberating which dress she should wear for me. I told her, I said, girl, just get comfortable. Let me shampoo away the confusion, rinse the shame down the drain, condition you with a self-love so deep. I didn't need to apply any heat. I flat twisted my admiration into lust, bantu down at the ends to secure her confidence and her trust, and I sprayed her with the brightest rays of sunlight I could find. And I took 2 photos. One, so I could always see that beautiful smile. And the other, because I actually do hair, so please hit me up on Instagram at @A_BLU_journey. Thank you.
Yo. I'm not even mad at the shameless plug, yo. Yo, give it up for Blue. All right, Uno, it's on you.
Hey, Miss Blue. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your piece. Thank you for setting the tone. You had your little blue light. Hey, mama, I'm a little different, right? So you caught me on the first one. I said, well, okay. So I had to look around. I ain't even gonna lie, I had to look around at the Christians. I said, well, let me see if she gonna. Everybody else is looking a little scared. I said, oh, this is gonna be some erotica. Then I said, hold up. Hold up. Do I need to get a retwist reel? You switched it up. I like it. I love you had me thinking this way, and good plot twist. You got me. 8.5, man.
All right, let's go. 8.5. All right, Kimberly Steward.
Blue. You, my dear, are the reason they created snacks. Listen here. I'm gonna keep some snacks for you all season. So, I appreciate you. And who was scared? Uno, who? Who was scared? Anyway, back to you, Miss Blue. Beautiful. That you are. You are beautiful. Your poetry is beautiful, and you're funny as heck. You are so hilarious, yo. I was like, yes, please give me more. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I thought you were talking about yourself. I was like, and I'm still low key thinking you were talking about yourself. So,
It was based on a true experience, true story.
all right. With that being said, you know why? I'm gonna tell you why real quick. And this is why you're so dope. It reminded me of Tweet. Oops, there goes my. So, with that being said, I'm gonna give you an 8.9, my love.
All right, 8.9. Low, it's on you.
That's why, hey, Blue, a good poem is a good poem, fam. That joke, you ate that. You ate that a lot. That was fire. I would say just things you probably already know about yourself that are dope, right? You're not just funny, you're a good writer. So a lot of people who can be funny and can write don't always know how to merge those together. But your pacing to be able to know when to bring it back, when to like go ahead, let the punchline be known in the middle, even how you wrap that joint up, like to like invite us to the struggle of like, yo, shameless plug, put that joint in there right there. Like good joint. that was fire. You use a lot of tools too. I think you're the first poet that's like come with multiple things in the bag. You rolled out you extended the metaphor as far as like hair products. Even the setup like to catch our attention was dope. And there's a thing that this is a different art form, but Christopher Nolan talks about when you're directing that you want to invite people to the story. And no matter how many times you twist the plot or whatever, don't forget that they're in a moment that they're in when they're watching it. So rather than just go off with dope lines and dope tools that you were using, you still brought us back to like, I still got hair to do though. Like this moment is still happening. I take two pictures, right? I'm still in that moment. So you don't fast forward through the scene. So dope piece. There's a few things I didn't love, like preference wise, as far as like pacing. I like my punchlines a little earlier, my twist a little earlier in the joint, so I can know okay, the volt is here now flesh it out for me. Or if it's gonna go a little later, cool, then wrap it up real quick. That's like that's a preference thing, but overall, hard joint. 9.7.
All right, let's go. 9.7. All right, Prentice, Powell.
So when you hit the first twist, which I think came a little delayed, that's the only thing I would say. That first twist, when you hit it, I was like, she used this as a plug. She knew here. That's hella dope. So I thought that's really creative how you did that. I think everything was very, very descriptive. In the beginning, I was right there with you. I was seeing everything you were talking. You are a very good writer. You made things very vivid in the beginning. However, I do think your twist could have been a little smoother. And then also the transition was kind of sudden to be late. I don't know. It kind of felt like, okay, the hair thing, and then you get into the metaphors and the hair analogies, which I thought was dope. I thought it was creative as hell. As central as you sounded delivering the first part, I think it would be dope to hear another type of vocal and fluctuation as far as personality or attitude or emotion when you're talking about the hair, because I feel like it's two kind of different topics, and you gave more character to the sensual part where you talk about going down the neck, but then the hair was kind of, I think you can invest a little bit more character and energy into when you're talking about the hair. But overall, I thought it was extremely creative, and I would definitely listen to that again. I give it an 8.5.
All right, 8.5. All right, Cassandra, it's free.
All right, Blue, Miss Blue. First of all, yes to shameless plugs. Yes to you being yourself and not being worried about what a judge might have thought in the beginning of the poem. For me, I'm definitely not afraid of a little erotica. I have, a book of erotic poetry. Shameless plug.
There you go.
I really, I love the wordplay. I love the wordplay in both parts of the poem. When we kind of thought you were talking about one thing, and then when you brought it over to what you were really talking about, I love the wordplay on both. I would have liked for more build up to the twist. Also, that's my only real critique on it, because I really did enjoy the poem. I enjoyed it, and like that's nothing against anybody else that's been up tonight, but I definitely enjoyed it. 8.9. 8.9.
All right, 8.9. All right, yo, Blue, I appreciate you. We'll take you backstage. Hey, listen, while we doing the shameless plugs, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, J.O. Speaks. Hey,
pay them bills, man.
Listen, I haven't got a cash out. I make sure my judges sit right. So, hey, if you want to bless us so I can bless them, the cash app is J.O. Speaks as well. So, y'all, we're going to keep this show rolling. If y'all got a shameless plug, y'all make sure y'all put it in the comments. Hey, we might shout you out. But, yo, y'all give it up for the next poet. Y'all give it up for J Poetry. Let's go.
I didn't want to commit adultery, so I divorced the pain and married poetry. I had a chance to kill my vocabulary, a chance to bury it and never go back to the cemetery. So I chose to keep my voice alive. I spit words to help the people survive. I do it for those that's lost and not found. I do it for the victims with no sound. I do it for those living in fear and their mind hostage. I do it for those broken and damaged. I do it for those dealing with pain in a secret storage. I do it to encourage. If there's no passion in your pen, then it's pointless. I do it for those who feel worthless. I let my ink leak. I let my ink speak. I let my ink cry. And to every poet and writer that has a dream, don't allow your passion to die. I do it for those who were sexually assaulted at the universities. I came to bring hope because there's so much possibilities. I do it for the mothers who lost their sons due to gun violence. I do it for the women going through domestic violence but walking in silence. I do it for those whose story is not on Lifetime. I do it for those with billion-dollar dreams and still don't have a dime. I do it for the babies like losing Isaiah, who was thrown in the trash. I do it for those working 2 jobs and still low on cash. I do it for the girls being bullied at the pep rally. I do it for that man and woman living in the back alley. I do it for the little girls with no friends, so they isolated. I do it for every boy that's ever been violated. I let my ink leak. I let my ink speak. I let my ink cry. And to every poet and writer that has a dream, don't allow your passion to die. All seasons is the seasons to be jolly. I do it for the Hollies whose parents are rich but don't have time for them, so they pop mollies. I do it for the Keishas who no longer watch cartoons but sneaking boys in their room doing things just to get their hair done. I do it for all people no matter where you come from. I write from the heart. I write for those who feel like their life is falling apart. I do it for the boys in the hood with the felony cases. Pain has no color. I do it for all races. I do it for the AKAs who don't feel pretty to the left or feel pretty to the right. I do it for those hating themselves and feeling unpretty at night, fighting themselves. I do it for the young woman stepping on that Delta line, but deep down inside, suicide is on her mind. I do it for the little girls who was molested but never addressed it. I do it for those dealing with mental illness. I do it for those who go to church every Sunday and still feeling emptiness. I let my ink leak. I let my ink speak. I let my ink cry. And to every writer and poet that has a dream, don't allow your passion to die. I do it for the victims who lost their lives in the Waffle House. I do it for those, and I refuse to be quiet mouth. I do it for those wrestling with their demons, no fist fight. Those who tossed and turned in the midnight. I do it for those whose father said he was going to the corner store but never came back home. Now little girls got daddy issues thinking every man gonna do them wrong. I let my ink drip. It's time to heal from those broken relationships. I do it for every person who's been kidnapped and drugged. I do it for every child who feels abandoned and just need a hug. I do it for every child in foster care who just wants somebody to be there, somebody to care. I do it for Dominique, Tariq, Sandy, and Randy, Hannah and Savannah, Aaron and Sharon, Shatika and Tamika, it's okay not to be okay, but you can make it today. I have a gift and a talent, and I refuse for my pen to be silent. Let God get the glory, never be ashamed of your story. I let my ink leak and I let my voice be heard. I let my ink leak for those who are crying, hiding, and running and searching for love. I let my ink leak. Thank you.
My. Amen. Hey, listen. Ooh-wee. I let my ink leak. I think we're gonna be saying that all week. I know I am. I let my okay. Uno, it's on you.
I let my ink leak. Hey, I'm about to Poetry, let me fly you to the we finna record that today. Right now. Let my ink leak. Hey, but check it though. But I want to say I appreciate you. Thank you for your piece. Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for demanding my attention. You came in and say, hey, stop what you're doing. I'm talking. You're being rude. Listen to me while I speak. You have a demanding voice. You made everybody say, okay, she talking to me. And then you made me feel like I want to dig in my pocket and say, dang, but I got to pay these tithes because you were preaching. You delivered that. You gave me, I was convinced. I believed everything. You could have told me anything, and I would have said, "Yo, she's telling the truth," because you was committed to your piece. You were committed to your piece, even if you was reading a little bit. You looked down, but you came right back and gave me that action. I noticed a little stumble, but we ain't gonna. Hey, that was the best one I heard tonight. 9. Thank you, Mom.
Let's go 9. J Poetry, Kimberly Steward.
So, J Poetry, hi. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. You made me tickled. And nobody has made me tickled tonight. And that's a big thing in my book. Let me just say. I'm giving you a new name. Are you ready? Are you ready for what it is? Okay. Your name is J Poetry Martin X Shabazz Marley Scott Jackson Hill. Nice to meet you. That's all I gotta say about that. Let me tell you something. Um, whoo, honey, baby, poo, 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 pop. You literally lit a fire to this room. And I know that my comrade judges below me, they're going to give you all this critique about, you know, the technical pieces of poetry and the writing. But let me just say this. As a woman who understands what you're talking about, I so appreciated that. And I appreciated that you brought it to us with power, unafraid, unashamed. And then, baby girl, you decided to give us a hook, an anthem that we could all take into the rest of our lives. I love my ink. What? I'm going to tell you where you went wrong. The only place you went wrong. When you spit something that powerful, if you're going to sing, baby, you better Mahalia Jackson that thing. Don't you dare come down and give us some Millie Mouse situation of a song. I don't care if you were off key. That thing should have been as loud because the movement is that. Think about it. Think about the civil rights movement. Think about the movement after George Floyd. I live in Minneapolis, 2 miles from where he was murdered. Think about it. We move through music. That's our culture. That's who we are. We to start just singing with you instead of judging it. So, with all of that being said, my love, because that's my only critique, I'm going to give you a 9.8.
All right, 9.8. Let's go, low. So you.
All right. J Poetry, you're amazing. You're amazing. That was awesome. Yeah, so I think I've mentioned this before. I know several folks have mentioned it before as well. Sometimes people use rhyme and they get limited by it. I think you are the best example of how to use a rhyme scheme and not be stuck to it, but you bounce in and out of it flawlessly. So good that whenever you used the rhyme, I felt like it was like, yeah, that was really tasteful right there. And you wrote it long enough to be like, I'm vibing with it, but then I'm not afraid to break out of it. You had several moments where you were just like, I'm just gonna say this, and it doesn't have no rhyme associated with it at all. And that shows you're very confident in whatever that line is you just said. So way to jump in and out of rhyming. Way to even play with cadence and flow. A lot of times, poets have abandoned the emphasis of being able to use cadence and building up the moments. Like you built that moment. I let my like you could have just said that without the cadence to it. That cadence is what gets me in there with you. You know what I mean? I feel like you're doing Miss Virtual is dope, but I can tell you if you did that in a crowd with like people in the room, you're about to set that whole joint on fire. That such good energy. It wasn't energy at the expense of dynamic. You had moments when you brought it down, when you made the people you were talking to more somber. You even named a few to make it more personal. Overall, it was a really great piece. A few critiques I would give, just things I think that you may, probably should think about. One is I think that you probably didn't need the singing at all. If you're picturing the emotion and the energy you've placed in that room, that singing was a term I don't think was necessary. I was like, I'm already with you. You know what I mean? You don't have to do a thing that gets people to rally around. Like sometimes poets, we think we have to have some other kind of art form to like get everybody in on it. Like your cadence was enough. Your energy was enough. We were already with you. And so I think you have a giftedness in a bunch of different ways. You don't have to show off singing right now. That piece could have been its own moment without singing added to it. I would also say it's a little sporadic. I think that there's so many things you're going for and so many folks you want to name, which is cool to show, hey, this has range to it, right? Sometimes poets start doing this is what it's for pieces, and they get so caught up in who it's for, but they forget what this even is, right? And so you started with yours. I know what it's about. I know the direction you're going for, but it gets a little sporadic. I think cutting is the hardest thing for any speaker, any kind of communicator, like saying, yo, this is a dope line, but I'll sacrifice a dope line for a dope piece. So some of those I don't think were necessary. Overall, though, it was still it was fire. So 8 for me.
Let's go. 8. All right. Prentice Powell.
I just kept saying to myself, as soon as you started talking, you sound like our ancestors to me. And I don't know if that's going to make any sense or even really resonate with you, but you sound like spirit. Like your voice is something that is going to make anybody stop and listen. So I think that's a gift within itself. And I would say that because you have that gift, because you have such a powerful, commanding voice, be very mindful of what comes out of your mouth. And the fact that that's what came out of your mouth, I think shows that, you're somebody meant to have that type of influence on somebody when you speak. I think my critiques would be that it was way too long because it was so powerful, in my opinion. I thought because of the simplicity within the kind of delivery of it and the writing format of it, I think you could cut it, and I think it could easily be a very strong 2-minute poem, like in and out, because it's so powerful. I let my ink speak. We all gonna be saying that for the next. Listen, we already know that's done. I think you should play with that. I think because your voice is so powerful and you're going in so hard, that's a good moment to give a break within that and be like, I let my, just ride with it a little bit more, because in the audience, people gonna be, that's where we're gonna want to hear. That's gonna be one of your go-to. So I would say just play with the idea of really playing with that moment of I let my ink speak. I think you started off like out the gate. I was like, oh, she's going. Like you was out. Like you was out the gate. So that on top of your voice, I think it can be a very clever way for you to grab the listener within your writing. Starting that powerful and having that voice. I think there was power and simplicity. I like the AKA shout out because I'm an alpha, so I appreciated that. But I thought that your ending, I don't think the singers were necessary. And I think the ending, the last thing you said, it was kind of like bashful and like rushed. So the very end felt like it was just like, okay, bye. And that don't fit what you just did. So I think you got to stick that landing a little better. But other than that, I think it was great. I give it an 8.3.
All right, 8.3. Cassandra is free.
All right, Ms. J Poetry. So I loved it. I definitely loved it. So my husband is a minister. So I definitely felt like 2 days ago when I was back in church listening to him, listening to him preach, it was a lot of power in your voice. And I definitely and then what you were saying was necessary. It was something that needed to be heard. One of the lines that you said, I wrote it down because I liked it. It said if there's no passion in your pen, then it's pointless. And I thought that line was that line stood out to me real hard. So the cadence was really dope. I was like kind of bouncing to it, bopping to it a little bit. And then I'm going to have the same critique that pretty much everybody else said. When you started singing, it broke. I fell out. I was like, oh, shoot. Almost what just happened, but the poem was dope. And then when you got to the singing, it like the whole rhythm like fell off for me, but the poem was still, it didn't take away from the poem being dope. It just took off from me feeling the moment. So that's where my critique comes in. And I'm really at a 9. I'm at a solid 9 for you. I love the poem, and please keep making your ink leak, please.
Let's go. Let's go. J Poetry, you already know. Hey, we're going to take you backstage. Hey, let that ink leak and speak. Let's go. All right, y'all. We about to keep this show going. Y'all, my sister that set it on fire. Hey, we might be going up tonight. Y'all put your hands together for my man, Veritas. Let's go.
Look where I'm at. I made it, right? I'm 37 years old from a city not known for longevity. But at times I question my legacy. You see, I'm from a city, Gary, Indiana, where they known for gripping on that steel type, where they carry Call of Duty type of guns in their real life. Where every day is dark. Question, do you know what that feel like? Run around, hear these rappers talking about how they kill Mike. Sometimes I go back home knowing that they feel spite. Coming from the land of the dope deal, where they know pain but don't know how the hope feels. Where them brothers stand on the block with the cold steel. Where they know how the end of the rope feel. Sometimes I look at the block, which was my genesis. Born in the tenements, the home of the harshest predicaments. Where the guilty thrive in his death to the innocent. Where young fools find bliss in their ignorance. I was taught game by the Black Fist militants. They taught me as a young in self-defense for my tenements. But my ghetto days contained a combination of agony and angst, plus misery and pain. Sometimes I wonder if my misery was in vain. My heart pumps liquid nitrate. I can feel it in my veins. These street hieroglyphics etched in the buildings as I look at the murals of fallen soldiers wiped away by the killing. The beginning. This is my perception of death. As I sit here in a collection of death, where brothers tote straps like it was connected to flesh. The sky tears and precipitates for my lost soldiers. Brothers' widow pictuary sighted on their right shoulders. The truth hits harder than head abrasions. And I question, could we ever receive true reparations if your brother's standing there with the tech adjacent? I'm from the home of the savages, where men are built beasts by the tragicness. Feel if I was born within this concrete womb. Feel if I've been cursed to die within this concrete tomb. The blocks bleed scarred with these concrete wounds. As I see young children filled with violent tendencies as the next generation of violent enemies, it kills my senselessly. I try to face the future, but I can't forget the past endlessly. And I question, if I die, never to return again, would I burn in your heart as an eternal flame? Would the next generation even know my name? Or would I simply die, never to return again?
Yo, let's go, let's go, let's go. Uno, it's on you.
Veritas, my guy, I appreciate your piece. Thank you. Thank you for the piece. Thank you for sharing. I always become partial to the voice of the trenches because I'm from the trenches and you speak my language. So I appreciate that. Keep speaking for us. Your writing on point. I like the writing. I like the wordplay. It kind of it teetered on the line of being a song and slam poetry, and I like that because I'm a rapper, I'm an artist, so I like that. So with that being said, bro, thank you. I look forward to hearing some more. I hope you got more in the trunk. So if them boys jump out, we can go ahead and pull it out and air them down. So, hey, I appreciate it, bro.
All right, let's go. Hey, Kimberly Steward.
Hey, Veritas.
What it do?
So I feel conflicted a little bit. I feel bad because your placement sucks. Like, I hate that you had to go behind. Ooh, Mama Shabazz. Because you know you got to learn the art of competition. I am still on a high, and you didn't do enough to ground me. So, although you are an amazing poet, I can tell, I kept tuning out because I'm still in my head. Like, I let my ink leak. I let my inks. It's your job to take it out. And so it's a really hard position that you're in. But what I will tell you is bars, my dude. Bars. Like, when I was tuned in, I was like, this dude got some serious. It was like a little too heavy, and too long, especially after that. And each one of you in this competition, I'm just going to give everybody a little pointer. Each one of you in this competition are going to have to learn how to read the room. None of these poets underneath you have won a slam because they didn't know how to read the room. They did what she just did, and that's take our breath away, and we're still there. So I feel bad for that. However, I appreciate you, and I appreciate the piece, and I appreciate all that went into the experience that went into putting it together. But all of that being said, I'm going to give you a 7.8.
All right, 7.8. All right, Lo.
My man's, I mad appreciate your piece. I mad appreciate your presence and how you shared it. I think that I was just on tour with some like poet / battle rappers. So like half of our team was like traditionally spoken word poets, and then half of my team was like URL battle rappers, right? And those lines can get really, really blurred as to like whose style is what. You know what I mean? Because I hear you and I'm like, yo, you're right there in that middle. You're right there in that middle. I will say that because this is a slam, I wish you weren't. You know what I'm saying? Like I could picture you in several settings and that'd be fire. I think one of the things that makes slam poetry so unique is I still need that hunger and that competitive edge of like the street, but I need you to know the nuance of the space that you're in, right? So I would say that the ability to paint the picture of the streets of Gary, you use tools I would have loved to see in battle rap. There are other tools in poetry that I would wish you would have employed. I think there's more personification. In the last, not the poem we just heard, the one before that, it was a moment where a girl was saying that the girl's throat was still felt rough with sleep. Like she's not putting personification on herself. That's the traditional like battle rap vibe, right? She's putting personification on something else, making me see the thing that I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? So there's just different tools that I think that if you were to use that, because I know how I can see how your mind works, you would kill if you just employ some of those joints. So for me, the overall joint was a 7.5, 7.5. But great writing, bro.
All right, 7.5. All right, Prentice Powell.
Bro, to me it's obvious you know what to do with words in the pen, bro. So your writing is solid. I was gonna say the same thing Lo said, man. It out the gate, I was like, oh, this is battle rap influence, and there's nothing wrong with that because I was a huge fan of it until I found out that we were rehearsing and all this weak ass shit and having people quote stuff and having people write for them. I'm sorry, I'm a huge battle rap fan. I'm just disappointed in that culture right now. But anyway, I could tell you battle rap influence, which I thought was cool because I can always appreciate, and I know exactly what you're talking about, Lo, and that's dope. You got to rock with them cats, man. That's really tight. I think I always admire when brothers who come from that lane, and I don't want to assume, do you battle rap, or are you a rapper as well?
Yeah, I do both. Yeah.
Okay, word. Okay, so I'm not wrong. I didn't want to start just assuming it and going down that lane, but I always respect when brothers in that craft, in your craft of battle rap, because it is a different art form than what we do, yet so similar. The courage it takes to come over here, because when you really come over here, it's work and it's a science to what we do. And I think you're able to, like Lo said, man, really be on kind of like that fence in a way. And I would have liked to hear, because you're in a poetry environment, more tools that sound like spoken word poetry and less punching all the way through. Because at the end of the day, when I listened to it, I was like, it was dope. He can write. Well, what was his overall, like, how do I summarize this, what I'm listening to right now? What is the overall message? I saw it, but I didn't leave with necessarily, it's not, that one's not going to stick. And I say that to say, because of your writing ability, that definitely shouldn't be, and not because it's a whack poem or anything like that, but that definitely shouldn't be your best work. If you come to a slam, that one shouldn't be in your top 3. I can even hear in your writing that you can kill harder than that. So I would challenge you, bro, to really write a couple of lines that don't rhyme in between all the ones that do in the punches, bro. Like, give me some more from how you feel about being in the streets, not only what it looks like and what you see. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
with all that, bro, I give it an 8, man.
All right, that's what's up. 8. All right, Cassandra's free.
Okay, good evening. So first of all, I want to say what you spit tonight was definitely, it was a relevant piece. So you had me, you had my ears, you had my attention the whole time. One of the things about, I guess, being the last one to give my commentary tonight is that I'm gonna sound like a lot of other people, but this is how I felt as well. I also heard elements of battle rap, knowing poets who battle rap and also do slam poetry, and knowing how they're able to separate the two. I would encourage you to work on modifying what you present as slam poetry compared to what you would present as rap or as battle rap. So that's my only critique, and I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
All right, 8.5. Let's go. Hey, my boy Veritas, awesome job, man. Representing that GI. All right,
brother.
Backstage. All right. Y'all, we're about to keep this show going, y'all. It's fire, y'all. We're not about to keep on disappointing you. Y'all, we're about to get it up higher. Y'all put your hands together for Lenora, Elaine. Let's go.
You muted. You may
She
be
got
on
to bring
mute.
that back.
You may on mute.
Hey, tell her to run that back. I ain't hear it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Sister, don't you know you have a cumbersome tongue? I'm saying you can conjure up magic. Just say, come, rain, come, and then soon comes your harvest. Birth from your full lips, birth from your tongue, and your tongue will say hallelujah, will say Alham Adullah, will say Ashe or Oshun or Ogun or Yemayah, will say you, and you are a powerful vowel. I'm saying you can speak magical molecules, dust a night sky, make the suns rise, a good daughters do. You are synchronized in the moon. You subdue the violence that can rack a dark mind and dark matters, rather been here a long time. You got a mitochondrial DNA of all them who dared to speak. It is your speech that was made to serenade the black sheep in this land where they come, they conquer, and they delete you. I love when a black woman speaks. I love when a black woman makes a speech in her silence. I love when she snaps and your synapse collapse. I love when she dusts you off and she makes you rise again with her sopranos and baritones. And it sounds like Mahala Jackson's in your headphones. Hear the rhythm seeking painting in your eardrums and realign yourself to the most high. And most try, but cannot be she who twists her onomatopoeias to create King's English. See, if you do not hear it, you will surely feel it or feel it. You will surely feel it or fear it. This black woman's speech. This black woman's speech is a fork in dragon's tongue high. There's molten rock during summer times in Mississippi. There's Fannie Lou Hamer trying to tell them Southern belles ain't nobody free until everybody's free. Your diction be just enough friction and lavender oil on your baby's skin. You say wade in the water, children. You say follow the drinking gourd. This is life source and protection. This is prayer and resurrection every seventh day. This is 25-hour work days because we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. So we go on and on. Yes, this black woman tongue is cumbersome, and some say the universe started with the word. Then I heard the words of Audre Lorde. She said, when we are afraid, our words will be too unheard or not welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So speak, goddess, for God is speaking through you, I am sure. You spit shine until you are pure again. You, mother of all kin and humankind. If they did not hear you the first time, then you rewind. And when you only have words of prayer, I'm saying, when you only have words of prayer, when they try to make us lose our minds, remember, our blessings always come on time, and they always come on time, don't they?
Let's go. Yo. Yo, the night getting going. Hey, this the part that's hard. Uno, it's on you.
Lenora, thank you for your piece. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for that smile. So, with that being said, your piece, your penmanship is amazing. It's dope, and please don't beat me up too much. But a little bit of your delivery, it kind of felt rushed a little bit, like it was trying to get through it, and it didn't allow me to digest it all the way. Because your pen is nice, and when you have a pen like that, for the casual listeners, you got to kind of allow it a chance for it to breathe a little bit. So, with that being said, I noticed a little stumble here and there. So that kind of took it down a little bit. 8.2.
All right. 8.2. Kimberly Steward.
Lenora. So I have a confession to make. I know Lenora in real life. However, I don't think I've ever heard you before. Ever. Ever have I heard you before. And wow. You made me give the stank face a couple times. I was like, ugh. It was just so nasty. Like, if they wasn't ready, they don't know how to even, like Uno said, they don't know how to digest it. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of have to slow it down for the slow folks, because Uno be slow sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta slow it down. You gotta slow it down so that people, like he said, can digest it. And we don't agree on a lot of things, but that I do agree on. Your beauty is, of course, and I tell you this all the time, your beauty is immaculate. And so let us see that more. Be powerful in that, because your smile illuminates the whole box. I love the joy that you have when you spit. Like, I can tell the whole entire time, with mess ups or not, you enjoy what you do. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you're the first poet that has come up here and given us a poem with enjoyment. Like, you enjoyed being here to give this to us. And you made me know that this was your calling. And so in all that, I'm going to say, little Uno, you tried it, you wish. Okay, so in all that, I'm going to say, I'm going to give you an 8.5.
All right, 8.5. All right, low.
Lenora, you're fantastic. I think that you are believable. when you hit the line, I love it when a Black woman speaks. Like, you said it like you love it when a Black woman speaks, and that's dope. There's something about saying a thing that you feel like you feel it. Like you almost said it like how I'd imagine it felt when you wrote that joint. So I think your use of alliteration is great. I think your use of cadence is great. I think you stumbled. Yeah, two big stumbles. And one of them was when you were quoting somebody.
Yeah.
And I think if you're ever going to bring somebody else's work in it, you got to know what they say. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like, yeah, for me overall, the knocks are pace, right? Slow down. Because if you're telling me this poem is about how dope a Black woman's speech is, then I want to be able to really enjoy everything you're saying. Like, say it like, yo, I'm going to take my time with some of these because you have to listen to it because it's worth listening to. So I would say slow down. I would even say cut some stuff. Like, if I hear a poem and I can tell that line didn't need to be there, then I feel like I'm doing the work that should have been done on your end, right? Like, if that poem was cut shorter, you could have taken your time with more of it. So overall, it's a 6, not because the poem wasn't dope. The poem was amazing. It's just the slip ups in the performance and the pace. But great poem, great presence, awesome job.
For sure. All right, Prentice Powell.
The first thing I wrote down was your smile is absolutely amazing. So the fact that you smiled out the gate and then went the direction you went, I was waiting to see you smile again, to tell you the truth. So somewhere, because of the and I can tell you do this. Like, to me, I was listening, I was like, oh, she's a problem. Like, okay, what's her name? I'm looking, and I wrote it down on my paper. Right. And when this is done, I'm gonna Google and see if you got work, because I gotta know what you be doing, because you're a problem. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I feel. So because I personally don't know anything about you other than this poem and that smile, I will say that because you're a problem, my critique is you need to push yourself harder in that. You was bouncing too easy with that cadence, and it got to a point where it's like, oh, I can tell you practice. Like, you don't just write and then say it a couple times, oh, I got it, it's good. You pay attention to how you say what you say. So because of that, I would like to see you play with that a little bit more. Try practicing to different genres of music while you do that poem. You know what I'm saying? And see what emotion it pulls out, because I heard a lot of emotion in your vocal fluctuation as well. What else I had? I want to see you smile more, take your time, and you're too dope to be stumbling in the slam. So whatever you got to do to get that right, nah, you can't do that because you're too nice at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're too nice to be stumbling that many times. And then also, when you do, don't let me know you struggling through that shit to remember it. Don't find a different way to catch it, so that hopefully you may lose. You know, you may not lose everybody in that moment. You may learn how to grab it back. I mean, it happens, but you too nice for that to be happening. So overall, dope job. I think it was a dope poem. I actually wrote down too, I love it when a Black woman speaks. The way you said that was just like, whoa. It was refreshing to hear. It felt like how I be feeling when I hear Black women speak. So dope job. I give it 8.7.
All right, 8.7. All right, Cassandra is free.
So first of all, thank you for the poem, because I definitely felt like I was your audience for that. I felt like you were talking to me, made me want to smile a little bit. And it's 12:41 a.m. right now, and I got to get up at 6. But you made me smile through it. You said nobody's free till everybody's free, and I love that line. I love that line tremendously. I thought it was fire when you first started, and you know, it was already mentioned there were a couple of stumbles. The important thing about the stumbles, though, is that you did get through them. Like, we knew you stumbled, but I've seen people stop. I've seen people stop and be like, oh, and I'm like, no, keep going. And you kept going. So that's the important thing, you know, if you skip a line and miss a line, just keep going. And I feel like you did at least keep going with it. And I just love the poem, and I hope I get to hear more from you. Definitely. I have an 8.5 for you.
All right, 8.5. Let's go, Lenora. Elaine, you did your thing.
Thank you.
I'll put you backstage. Y'all, listen, we almost through the show, y'all. We only got a few more points to go, so we're going to keep it going. Y'all put your hands together, get the snaps going. Y'all give it up for my man, Brandon Allen. Let's go.
I remember my first real poem. I sat at the computer while my tears stroked the keyboard, my pain unlaid within the stanzas, and my anger lashed out in metaphors. I repeated why from line to line, questioning the character and purpose to God's design, like this one individual couldn't belong to him. I thought this one distributor of sorrows and agony couldn't be cut from the same cloth as me. I mean, how did I rise from those loins? And couldn't he see that my bloodshed didn't match that from which he came to be, but yet this was my reality. And it didn't belong in your picture perfect TV sitcom. See, I grew up in a different world where my family matters didn't fit, and how my brother, mother, cousin, and uncle feel would shake up my wheel. See, I was no Fresh Prince, and my life was unfamiliar, so these different strokes would wither away in my good times. And I had no clue where I fit in. In fact, I had a skewed image of what a black man was supposed to look like. In fact, I didn't even like how I looked, so the image of anything was better than this. This is a story of an unidentified human project that was molded into something that nobody could recognize. He became a reflection of what was popular at the moment and always dressed in his best self-consciousness, wrapped into how many different shades of fake could his facade portray. Yet no one took notice. No eyes cut to his cuts that were more similar to battle wounds. He laid prostrate on a mattress made of empty solemnness. He dug holes into his soul, praying someone would come fill his voids, yet he didn't even know how to pray. He repeated practice redundancies, hoping someone heard him scream with urgency, please. Silence begets silence, and it all muffled his destiny. This little boy was dying, and no one would come to his rescue. So this little boy had to discover how to tend to his own wounds. He was left mangled, a hideous atrocity. Yet if you look for his disfigurements, I promise that you wouldn't see. This little boy cried on the inside and was flooding internally and left little room for his feelings, so he wore his emotions on his sleeve. This little boy choked on his insecurities because he wasn't taught to swallow things like his pride. And he never understood why they called them memories, because he remembered everything as if life was stuck and repeat, as if life was stuck and repeat, as if life was stuck and repeat, as if this little boy followed the wrong path because for a minute the road to death seemed a little more pleasing. This little boy thought accolades and self-humiliating behaviors would make life more easy. This little boy was poisoned by pornography and thought love was spelled S-E-X, so he tried to repeat the things he would see. This little boy was lonely and would constantly talk to strangers because at least they heard him speak. This little boy still survives, although he tried to die repeatedly. I'll introduce you to this little boy because he still resides inside of me. I'm this little boy. Nice to meet you. You know, I remember my first real poem. I sat at the computer while my tears stroked the keyboard, my pain unlaid within the stanzas, and my anger lashed out in metaphors. But then I found God. My pain, my past, and my future. This little boy refuses to cry anymore. Thank you.
Yo, this little boy, let's go. Yo, we got some one-liners tonight, y'all. Uno, it's on you.
Brandon, Mr. Allen. I have never in my life related to a piece that much. Just being totally honest. I have never in my entire life relate to a piece that deeply, that strongly. Shit, I felt like you had, you talked to my mama a little bit, and I felt that. Like honestly, I felt that. You struck an emotion And I know that's what poets like to do. If you just strike, even if it's just one person in the crowd, if you strike an emotion, you did your job, sir. You were prepared. You presented. You had inflection, engagement. I can't be mad at you because your mic went out a little bit. I can't be that. That's technical difficulties. I can't take no points away from you for that. So I got to give you a 10.
Let's go. Let's go. First 10 for the night, y'all. Hey, Kimberly Steward, it's on you.
Whew. I think people think I'm a little crazy. Hey, Brandon, it's poets like you that make people think I am naturally insane because you tickle me. You make me smile. You make me realize why I love poetry.
Thank you.
And I'm going to call you Little Luther because, like him, you could spit anything. You could literally open the phone book and give it to us in a poem, and we would take it. And on top of that, you have dope pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and look into the future and say you have dope pieces. Like, seriously. And then on top of that, I see the God in you. And so, with all of that being said, sir, it's an honor. It's a pleasure. Thank you for blessing us with your professionalism. Thank you for blessing us with scenery, a background, a brand. Yes, sir, you are a poet, and I'm gonna give you a 10.
Oh my God! 2. All right, Low, the poet, it's on you.
All right, I'll go critiques first. I think overall, like again, you can't control the mic and everything. That has nothing to do with it. The fact that you're able to stay so committed to the joint was powerful. I think that if I were to have a critique on the writing of it, I would say you started off at the computer and talking about how this is about, what I'm saying, the first time I wrote a poem, and then you abandon the whole idea of that notion. You know what I mean? And you brought it back, which I think was dope, right? But to me, that's just a little easier. I would have loved to have seen that woven in there at some point in time, remind me where we got on this train from, how I even got into this conversation. That's the first critique. The other critique is I think it was a little long. That being said, everything you did well was so much better than those little things, it doesn't even really matter. Amazing piece. You are fire as a presenter. My boy said, I'm gonna use the whole thing. Everything that can fit in this screen, I'm using. But thank you for standing up. For real, standing up. You know what I'm saying? Giving that energy, committing to the piece. That's not a piece I could have seen you doing sitting down. So just the commitment to it. I think the writing was dope. I feel like there's 2 different ways to tell a story. If you see somebody in a maze, you can look down and watch them get through the maze, or you can feel like you're walking through the maze with them, looking over their shoulder. I felt like the way you told your story, I felt like I was looking over your shoulder. That's not my story, but I resonate with it like it was my own because you told it so well. So it's an easy 10 for me. You're amazing. You're a gift.
Thank you.
It was fire.
Thank you.
Let's go. That's 310. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Prentice Powell, it's on you, my boy.
Bro. First of all, salute to you. I feel like you put forth the most, in a way, the most effort out of anybody who's been up here thus far. I feel I admire and respect you utilizing the space you in, utilizing your stature. I appreciated the fact that you utilized some hand movements. You weren't just still. I'd encourage you to relax a little bit more just in your natural movement. Just try to get a little bit more comfortable. Don't think so hard about this hand being placed right here and then speaking here and then keeping it just kind of relax a little bit. I like the TV references that you did earlier in the poem. I thought that was dope. I didn't understand dressed in best self-consciousness, but maybe there's something about that I didn't get. There was one part also where you said life on repeat, and you repeated that, and you were like, life on repeat. So I have a poem called The System. It's probably one of my most notable poems that I've ever written. and I do this whole robotic thing, and I say error, redundancy, repeat, error, redundancy, repeat. It reminded me just of that in that moment. I don't say that to say because it's my poem that I'm bringing it up, but with popular poetry, be careful and just be aware, because some things we can have no clue about, but sometimes too we can become influenced, and sometimes if it matches certain other poems that are written, it can kind of take away from the overall value of your piece. So just something to be mindful of. I thought the way you tied it right back around with the ending being the closing as well. I didn't understand how we got there. So I was cool with it in the beginning, but the poem didn't lead me back. So it just kind of felt a little awkward. But other than that, I think you did a dope job, man. And I would encourage you to keep speaking, man. But just relax a little bit more in your moves, man. Get comfortable up there, own it. I want to see you own it a little bit more. So next round, own this joint, bro. I definitely give you an 8. I'll give you an 8.7.
All right, 8.7. Let's go. Cassandra is free.
All right. Good evening, Brandon, or where I am, good morning. From a Black woman to a Black man, I want to say thank you for not being afraid to put your emotions out there, because a lot of times Black men are very, very aware that some people will perceive emotion as weakness when it's not. Not. So what you did tonight was came on and became a voice for men who are afraid to speak about how they feel or how they felt or how they grew up. And that's necessary. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Critique. No, let me go back. The writing was dope. I have to say that the writing was dope, but critique, I did feel like it was a little long, because there was a point in the poem where you said, "Nice to meet you." And I thought the poem was done because there was a long pause. And then you came back in. I was like, did he start a new poem? I was like, all right, cool. But, he was like, he ready for next week. And I wasn't mad at that, but it was just, the pause was so long that I thought you were done at "Nice to meet you." And that would have actually been an okay way to end that poem also. That's pretty much it. That was the main critique, was just the length, and then that one part of the poem. I like how you use your surroundings, and that was pretty much it. So I have a 9.1. Thank you.
9.1.
So thank you.
Yo, Brandon, you killed it, my man. We're gonna put you backstage. Yo, we got 2 poets left, and we'll let y'all go to sleep, y'all. But hey, we still lit. We still woke. Let's keep it going. Y'all put your hands together for Kelsey. Let's go.
So when I was in 5th grade, I was standing outside my classroom, and this boy that I had the biggest crush on decided to come and talk to me loudly. He decided this would be the perfect time to point out my big old breasts and big old belly. I was much larger than my breasts, except for he used to wear breasts because he was only in 5th grade, but his comedic timing was well beyond his years. The whole class erupted. They laughed and he laughed. And if I were white, I probably would have turned cherry red instead. I tried to turn wall, inch ridiculously close to it, thinking if I perpetrated hard enough, eventually the structure would have to accept me as one of its own, and I would be relieved of the burden of being seen. I'd be free of the reality of having to be here. This is the start of my obsession with slipping into oblivion. Nowadays, you're going to know that a baddie is here and worth the seeing this skin. To not come with an instruction manual on how to love its contents, and I'm doing all right. I'm no longer an accomplice from those unable to see my light. I'm getting used to life and this here reality, and won't you celebrate with me? This luscious stomach that mimics jello whenever I let a raucous chuckle, my giggle as we're giving me my presence, much like my present form. I'm not really hard to miss, and ain't none of me hard to love. Choosing myself isn't always easy. You can't self-esteem out of fat phobia. And to making doctors believe you're actually in pain or having employers honor your access needs, this world has chosen a contentious relationship with my body, but I revoke consent message. It is illegal to shout fire in a crowded room when there is none, but I have a secret. Do y'all want to hear it? It is not unlawful to be fire when you just are. So I just blaze, just be, exist unapologetically, allow the presence of my presence to be fully received, because I ain't got no muffin top. I'm the whole damn cake. How God it is
to see abundance where others find void, to call this body good, even if it's unobservable to others. I call myself all, name myself everything, celebrate baby Kelsey and her big old belly for lasting, and how sweet it is to be loved by me, my best self. Is loud. Laughter spilling out like secrets that refuse to be hidden any longer. My best self is belly puffed in love with this jiggly existence. My best self is living and loving this moment right now, offering grace and denying shame to all the negative self-talk demons that still try to convince me that I don't deserve to be here. You see, I decided I was never a decorative wallflower. I am always the mural. I am already here, and I am so grateful to see me.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I didn't drop my pen. Let's go. Hey, Uno. It's on you, my boy.
It's some poetry going on here this evening.
It is.
It's a little razzle dazzle. It's a little razzle dazzle going on this evening. So, Kelsey, hey, I'm not even gonna lie. I want to say first off, thank you for your piece. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for sharing. I thought you was finna ask. Here she goes. I was bullied in school. I thought she. Not gonna lie, that thing turned into I'm a proud. Hey, see me. This me. If you don't like this, you can go that way. And I just couldn't stop smiling. I was like, look, just say it. You better stomach. Yeah, got me a good little stomach. Yeah, I like that. Thank you for entertaining. It was very entertaining. 8.5, love. I appreciate it.
All right, let's go. 8.5. All right, Kim.
Kelsey.
I'm all out of character.
It's all good. Just know that if y'all don't know me, don't call me Kim. It's Kimberly. So Kelsey, you're great because your name starts with a K. I'm gonna take that one for the team. I'm just saying. Listen, I love you. I absolutely love you. See, a lot of people have resonated with some of these other poets, but I, my big chested sister, resonate with you. It's the reason why you'll never see anything besides my clavicle on camera, because I'm tired of the breast jokes. And so you had me from the very beginning. And yeah, you put me back to the 3rd grade when my teacher inappropriately told me I looked amazing and it gave me a look that a man should never give a child, and he was white. And I was terrified of him from that day, and he was my favorite teacher on the planet. And only reason why I'm telling this story is because you gave us a story that brought us all the way in. And like Uno said, we thought maybe you were going to go down the bullying path, but you so fiercely took your power and let us know you knew you had it. I think that is absolutely gorgeous. And then you're beautiful on top of that. I love it. And then you're modestly sexy. I love it. I just love you. I love you. I love you. Did I say that before? I love you. Okay. So with all of that being said, I'm going to give you a 9.5.
All right, 9.5. All right, low. Alaman, let's go.
Kimberly, you're amazing. You're amazing, fam. That was not just entertaining, that was refreshing. That was amazing. How long have you had that piece?
It's old, like 4 years.
Yeah. So it shows how well you know it, which is dope. Because you know it that well, there's a few things I wish I would have seen, right? So really 2. The first one is when you're spitting a poem that you know well, if it's an older joint, sometimes like I'll do this. I'll close my eyes to reach back and make sure I know where the lines come, how they hit, or whatever. but you play with contrast a lot in that poem, like a whole lot. Like you started the joint off like you come on really loud, and then you said the boy said something loud, and that's the first time he said something soft. He was like, he said this loudly. Once you set that up, you keep hitting contrast the whole rest of the time, which is fire. But your face doesn't do much contrast. There are moments where if you're saying a line that's talking about how confident you are, that's when I want you to close your eyes. That's the moment you're looking at me. Then the moments when you're talking about how we view things, your eyes are closed and you're calling those lines back. So because you know that piece so well, there's ways I think that you can like play with that contrast and your presentation of it because the writing does it so well. I'm trying to get all my critique out of the way. It's still a 10 though. Just to be 100%, like I gotta get all the critique out of the way for the 10. What you do well, what you do well is vulnerability, and most people think vulnerability means it's a sad poem. That poem ain't sad at all, but it's still so authentic, and it's letting us into the recesses of how not just I feel this way. You're saying how I got to feel this way. You know what I'm saying? This confidence I have in myself, this energy I got about myself. You do what a lot of the Philly poets do really well, and it's like a gutter. I'm here with it. Like I don't really care if you vibe with it or not, but I'm still gonna let you in on how I got here. That kind of vulnerability and writing match with it. Can't beat it. So 10 for me, fam.
Oh my God! All right, Prentice Powell, it's on you.
I'm gonna start with the last line. I am so grateful to see me. So that stuck with me the hardest. So it made me, after hearing it, place that at the top of your poem. So that's kind of how I'm giving you like the feedback, if that makes any sense. You smiled off the bat and started talking, which I thought was dope. I appreciate you smiling and speaking at the same time. When you mentioned your body parts earlier, I think you said like your breast and your stomach. When you did it, it seemed like you grazed past that, when I think it's a focal point in a way, and not the specific body part, but the fact that, this is about your image. So I don't know if it's in delivery or if it's in a physical gesture or emphasizing somewhere somehow. I think I would play with that line somehow. I love the play wall. I thought that was really dope. I thought that was when you said, I was like, "Ooh, okay, this is dope." And seeing where you went with it, I was like, "Oh, she's a writer. Like you're a writer." So, it's different when you're a writer. When you're a writer, and then on top of that, you have the ability to present and perform. Nobody's ever gonna stop you in doing this. So just know you are ill already, because just off top, you're a writer. But I thought the play ball was dope. I would encourage you. You said comedic timing was beyond his years. That line, I think you need to say it sarcastically a little bit. I think it's a powerful point, even though it's really in the beginning. But I think you can kind of deliver that with a little different emotion than you're giving prior to saying that and after. I think that's a line that can just show a little bit of personality in a way. Obsession with slipping into oblivion. I was like, okay. But I need you to slow down. A little bit after that, you was just running, and it was too much. It was something about a raucous chuckle. I just like how that sounded, and you just jumped into the very next line right after that. And then it was you saying that you're not hard to miss, but then you jumped right into where you were going next. And then it was a powerful line about fat phobia. What was the line? It ends with fat phobia. You know what I'm talking about?
You can't self-esteem out of fat phobia.
Let that breathe for a minute. You stepped all over that one. Like, that's powerful. And it's giving your poem direction at the same point, but let me sit with that. So there was a lot that you said that I feel like you didn't let it breathe. But the whole thing was dope. I think you could play with this poem. You were like, I have a secret. Do you want to hear? Give me a moment to answer your question in my head before you get to that next line right there, because I feel like that's a moment where, because of the content and you celebrating in the poem, that's you taking a minute in this poem to interact with me. So actually ask me the question and give me that space, or find that breath in between the next line, to where you give the listener the feeling that you're actually asking them, and you give us a minute to process that question. Other than that, that poem is, you're another one. I gotta write your name again.
Kelsey.
Kelsey, okay. I gotta write your name down because I need to see what else you're doing because
we're gonna need a little more information than just Kelsey to find your stuff. We gotta find that.
Yeah. We gonna get it. We gonna find you. We gonna find your poetry. So overall, man, I think it was super dope. I give it a 9.
For sure. Let's go 9. Cassandra is free. So
All right, Kelsey. So you are not just the whole cake. You need to add the frosting to that, please, and thank you.
Got to.
Please add the frosting, like the birthday confetti with all the sprinkles and stuff stuck in your teeth, but it's okay because it was delicious. My only critique, and this is my only one, it was already said, but it was my one critique, was to slow down. Only because I didn't want to miss a bar. You know what I mean? You had so much wordplay. I didn't want to miss anything. I wanted to catch everything that you just said. So I teach middle school, and that is a poem that I would want to find on YouTube and share with my girls and my boys, because boys have body image stuff too, and they need their confidence boost as well, that I would want to share with my students. That's how dope that poem was to me, that I would take that poem and I would say, hey, let's watch this. It might be a word or two, but y'all say it anyway in the hallway, so don't front. And I would create a video for them, and I would let them write to it, because I teach creative writing and math. It's weird, but I would want them to write to it and write like a response to it. And that poem did that for me. So that gave me a 9.8. I ain't gonna lie to you. That poem was the only reason I knocked the 0.2 off, was because I wanted you to slow down. That was really it. Because it really is a 10, just slow it down. But a 9.8, dope.
Kelsey, you killed it tonight. I appreciate you. Yo, I'm gonna put you backstage.
Thank you.
We about to keep it going, y'all. Believe it or not, we have made it to the end. And it's funny that Cassandra said she teaches English and math, because the next poet coming to the stage, y'all, her name is the Wordmatician. Y'all give it up. Let's go.
Too often we find ourselves finding ourselves, literally our shadows following ourselves, because we stop to take a moment and reflect. Won't you ingest this by taking in deep breaths? In for 3, out for 7. Let the pages start rumbling, because your fingertips need to be closed, literally enclosed, in the same sense of our bars being shown, because the imprisonment we allowed ourselves to be contained by was more so the ways in which our frame would pass us, to the point that we realized that sometimes it was not the freedom of the pen to the pad, but more so the tongue to the lip, allowing our own words to be able to sit on its tip, allowing it to be all encompassing of every single element, putting yourself in a position to be still. Those finding themselves best ill because it's the illness that finds them in a position to receive a message, more so the ways in which your tongue can speak life or death. The manifestation is not just when you declare what you desire in a moment of trying to enforce power, but more so when you empower your active moments of being able to say that everything you speak, you see. It be like abracadabra, you see. Once you open your eyes and dream, allow yourself to see that reality is more so the acknowledgement of those things that have already been spoken before you came to be, and how you live out someone else's clarity. Become your own sense of existence, because your shadow was only the intention to remind you stand bold, stand tall, stand bright enough for light to always seem to cascade a shade, but never too much to find shade, to be able to give you a space to understand that the swiftness of my tongue tip ain't no much more than the proof of the extemporaneous expression, because though we are so smitten by those who have bars already written, I find myself more free when I let myself go and let myself flow. So it's always this element of knowing that sometimes it's just difficult to try to slam so much in 3 minutes and 10 seconds by bars, and not being declared that you went off too far. But if there was nothing more I could give you, absolutely nothing more to reach you, I would only ask that you allow me to teach you to take a deep breath in, because you can. And as you slowly exhale, gratitude will come. It will abound to the point that you realize all those questions and all those worries are no longer a matter, because the fact of it all is you do. And your whole sense of truth is knowing that your presence is proof that you live, and we celebrate the breath that flows so freely, allowing us to connect in so many ways. I give thanks for all those who brought me this space, because seeing Houston represented on this stage 2 times tonight makes me feel so happy and at home. We have survived so many ways in which we allowed ourselves to parlay, but sometimes it's just that place of being able to say, I can do this shit from home. Thank you.
Let's go. H-Town in the building. Hey, this the last poet, y'all. Uno, it's on you.
We've come to the end of family gathering. I would like to say I appreciate all of you and thank you, all the poets, but Wordmatician, I love your penmanship. Thank you for your piece. But when I said, oh, she came on so fast. Hold on, what'd she say? Then you said breathe. I was like, oh, perfect placement. Now I can catch up. But then you ran off again. I was like, hold up, wait, baby, wait. just let, like I said, I'm Kim told you I'm a little, hey, slow it down. I've been in combat a couple times. But slow it down for
don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I know. I just want to digest it. I don't want to miss it. I want to miss it. I want to feel it because you've given it to me. And I just want to totally understand you. And I don't want to miss nothing. So with that being said on this piece, I give you 8.3. It was dope.
Thank you.
All right, 8.3. All right, Kimberly Steward.
I feel like I'm about to be fricassee fried to the cross. Hey, how you say it?
The Wordmatician.
Wordmatician. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, do not be so heavenly minded that you are no earthly good. Don't speak in so many riddles and degrees that we have no clue what the heck you're talking about. Okay. I don't know what you just said. I know, breathe. And then you said it. You said my critique in your poem. Mm-hmm. And the very lines were, so much to slam in 3 minutes. And it was so much that you stumbled over the easiest part of the poem. And I was like, and I can tell your pen game is nice. But boo-boo, you got to give it to us in a way that we can have and know something to, like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I feel like I don't even know how to judge you. Cause I mean, yeah, you made me work too hard. I had to literally like tune all the way in to hear any of your words. And that's too much. Listen, Uno. Okay. So I'm giving this to you because you could be the very sleeper that everybody needs to watch out for. And so, and you're a talent that doesn't need to be tossed aside. So don't toss yourself aside. You know what I mean? Yes. Don't get beat by someone who is less than. Okay? Because you're like, yeah. So, anyways, with all of that being said, I'm gonna give you a 7.
Thank you.
All right, 7. All right, Lo, it's on you.
So I actually listened pretty fast and I tracked pretty well. So I loved your piece. I will agree it was rushed. Like it was a lot to be said, especially on poems that if you're gonna tell somebody but they matter, and that's gonna be like a landing point for a message. I think that has to be, you can't just tell us to breathe. You got to breathe that too, and so I would agree it needs to slow down. Because there's so many lines. Now, one of the challenges that means that you have to cut stuff out, right? So all that can't fit in 3 minutes. So it's like what all has to go. I feel like your ability to be in the moment. I don't know when you wrote that, John, but to put that
I didn't. How many Houston? I made it up.
You freestyle that, John? I was like, yo, hold on, what we doing? What we doing? That's different. That's different. And I think one of the critiques we've all had most consistently tonight here was like knowing how to read the room. Ain't nobody read the room like you have tonight. Like, that's hard. I'm not gutsy enough to freestyle stuff in the moment. That's hard. So overall, I give it a 7. I think that it is. I think you have a lot more. So it's like music, right? Like music is not the notes you cram in the piece; it's the space in between it, right? So there's a lot more of the space in between wants to say, and so give a space to breathe, to track with you. I love the interactive part of it, letting us breathe, but join us in that. Overall, great piece.
Thank you.
For sure.
Also, I'm in spring too, so that's H-Town. We here.
Whoa.
I was born in Houston. Let's go. Prentice, it's on you.
I can tell you, right? You enjoy. If that's off the top of your head, that's impressive. I didn't hear you stumble or. So just the fact that you just spoke for that long without stumbling that makes it better for me, actually, hearing you say that, to tell you the truth. See, now this changes. Okay, let me tell you what I had before you said that you made that up.
Okay.
All right, so before I knew that this was something that you had not created prior to these words coming out your mouth, I thought it was too fast, and I thought it was too ironic of a poem because you were going too quick, but talking about relaxing and taking deep breaths, but we didn't have time to take no deep breaths. So I thought it was, and then you said more so as a transition like 4 or 5 times, the word more so. So just pay attention. Poets have a habit of using UC as a transition a lot too. So just pay attention, like the you see something, you see. The more so was kind of like that. I heard it a couple times. So just something to watch. The slam so much in 3 minutes part. Yeah, that it just made it just emphasized how fast you were actually going. When you said take a deep breath in, I thought you were ending. But obviously you weren't, because you were making this up when you were talking, which is dope. So I kind of feel like, honestly, none of this really matters because you made it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if this was a poem that you had written, I would have those comments. Listen, because you made it up, I'm gonna give you a 9. That was dope.
Let's go.
Run it back. Do you remember everything you said?
No.
Hey, listen, that's the thing about this.
I record it though.
Certain gifts. You know
I
what
record
I'm saying?
it, and if it's received well, then I'll slow it down and apply it in a way that has a rhythm for you to receive it. But when I say more so, I mean like keep breathing. Because if you hold your breath while I speak, you don't get the point. But I'm
when you hit the line about the shadow. When you hit the line about the shadow, do you remember what you said in that?
Yeah, no, but something about your shadow is proof to show that you still stay under the sun or something like that. I
can't make that up in the moment. You can't just say that.
I'm the Wordmatician.
Your head, like
I'm.
But you know what would be a dope idea with your gift is just starting recording yourself doing that.
I have 1,200 recordings. I got you, boo.
Oh, dang, what we doing?
Hey, listen, I'm
connecting.
I'm gonna be quiet.
No. Connect.
Cassandra is free. The English teacher and the mathematician.
Yo, you just came and like Ed May read the whole slam like that.
Right, that's
what I'm saying. That's a compliment. Trust me, that's a compliment. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I picked up on the freestyle kind of midway, but I wasn't sure. But so I didn't want to say it, and then you confirmed it. I was like, all right, bet. Yeah, because I can't freestyle.
You can. You have conversations every day.
Listen, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. I can't freestyle to a flow like that. And I just commend the fact that you came up here and did it, and you did it. To me, you did it well. You did it well because I picked up that it was a freestyle. 2, because a lot of it made sense. It started out mad fast because like you were like it just started like he brought you up and then you just went in, but that was kind of like an indication that you were just ready to go. But then I started to catch up because my mind works fast, so I started to pick it up. I liked it. I messed with it. I almost cussed again. Sorry. I messed with it a lot. I almost dropped like the worst one. Because of everything, because of the fact that it was that original, that you were not afraid, that you came out of freestyle, and I knew it was. I got a 9 too, because on the strength of what you just did tonight. That's just me. I'm muting.
Let's go. Wordmatician, listen. yo, awesome talent. You killed it. Like to freestyle like that is definitely bananas, yo. But listen, I'm gonna put you backstage. We're about to close out the show. You was the last poet. Yo, listen. I gotta declare the winner. And I gotta talk about who leaves this week, man. We had a show tonight, y'all. This was making the cut. This is Series 8. As y'all seen it, it is some fire poets, but only the Elite 8 can go into week 2. So the poets that will not be with us next week was Janelle, Jules, and Natalie, y'all. So, y'all, their information is still on the website. All the poets you heard tonight is on jospeaks.com. Just hit the tab, meet the poets, and all the people there. So if you don't know who they were, you can't find them, just go to jospeaks.com. You can click it. You can also click the link or meet the judges. If you thought that these judges had some dope feedback, or maybe you didn't agree and you wanted to get in their DMs, yo, just go right to the website, click on their picture, it'll take you right to their page. But yo, I gotta give it up for the winner for this week. Y'all know he used like the whole box plus some more, and he killed it, y'all. So y'all give it up for my man. Hey, Brandon, let's go. You want to say a few words to the folks?
Thank you.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Let's go. All right, y'all. So as y'all know, this competition is poetry.
I just want to say,
go ahead.
TV, and then you told me to get back on. So I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even know what was going on. But I just really want to say thank you guys. I appreciate the feedback. I'm really going to use it for sure. I'm honored to be in front of these judges. I'm a fan. I got the chance to look y'all up, and the ones who I already knew, of course, and then some who I got to know. I'm definitely a fan of you all. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity, and I'm just looking forward to just moving through it and pushing forward and being able to challenge myself and continue to grow. And hopefully next time there won't be any sound issues, and I'm able to be more relaxed and take my time through it.
For sure. Well, listen up, y'all, to speak about next time. So next week we got a writing prompt. Our goal is to put poetry in places that it hasn't been before. So we are teaming up with small businesses and providing poetry as a means to their presentation, to their marketing. So this week, y'all, we teamed up with Through Guidance. And I can't really put it in words, so we're going to let Kendall tell you herself. Here we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Kendall Troutman. I am the executive director and founder for Through Guidance. Our mission is to provide young people in underserved community access to ice sports, nutritious meals, and academic support while cultivating community pride. J.O. Speaks and I have known each other for a long time, and he has assisted in the past with some previous Rwandan missions that we've conducted using dance as a vehicle of reconciliation for street kids in Kigali, Rwanda. The dance component of our organization actually highlights our organization's name. So it's called Through Guidance. And when you look at the word guidance, Guidance, it's through God, you and I dance. While our organization have pivoted over the years, especially with the pandemic, we are now not only still working in Rwanda by sponsoring 60 kids to ensure that they complete education, but we also have a diversity ice skating program that allows kids from underserved communities in Los Angeles to be able to access figure skating and ice hockey. We also have a nutrition program. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we distributed over 3.7 million free hot breakfasts and lunches to kids all over LA County. And this program exists to make sure that no child goes hungry during school closures, which are summer and winter breaks. So we are teaming up with J.O. Speaks Poetry Slam to see if poetry can continue to help our mission. Through Guidance recently launched a fundraiser for Giving Tuesday that is still going on our Instagram account to raise money to continue to provide our ice skating kids and our nutrition kids support to continue to expand the programs and to excel in the things that they're doing on the ice specifically. I would like to utilize spoken word poetry to encourage gifters to give so that we could provide more opportunities for our kids. The title of this prompt is Hands and Feet. And it's a great title because in all programs, whether it's education, nutrition, or ice skating, our kids need their hands and their feet. So I look forward to hearing you next week as you give voice to this situation. For more information, check out our website at throughguidance.org. That's THRUGUIDANCE.org, or follow us on Instagram at throughguidance. Thank you so much. Peace.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it straight from Kendall. So that's the prompt. I'm going to post it in the link in the chat, y'all. So poets, make sure you hit the website. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, thank y'all so much for rocking with us. See y'all again next week, every Tuesday, 10 Central. Y'all, we're not out of words. We definitely out of time. I'll see you next week. Peace.